to Sally's Sewing Bee. I'm Sally Thompson, and today I'm going to show you how to roll a flap to finish off the leather clutch wallet. So this is part 2 of 2. I'm just going to refresh you. So let me come up to the table. I'll show you what we were doing so far. So this is the finished article. So in the last video I was showing you about how to make the gusset. The thing is, with this method of construction, you can be really quite fancy with what you do. So here's another one I've made. So I've kind of used a more sort of like fancier edge, a scrolled edge. But the method is exactly the same. I just wanted to draw your attention to something. Can you see that little gap there that my knitting needle sort of fits into? This is a space that allows for the expansion of, all the money that I'm going to pack into this wallet. This is called the rollover allowance. It's roughly 2 centimetres. The other thing I wanted to show you actually, before I do the little demo, is, can you see that? It wants to stay down all the time, and that is because I have rolled the top layer. So it's kind of longer on the outside and shorter on the inside. And if I open that out, it might be difficult for you to see here. But the leather kind of wrinkles when I try and straighten it out. But then when I let it go, it goes really lovely and smooth. Now, if I show you these 2 pieces, there's the suede, this is the leather upper. I've got 3 lines here. I'm just going to go over this one a little bit. There are 3 lines. The middle one is the apex of the roll. So that would be the very top part here, the bit that kind of shines, probably is caught by the camera. There are 2 other lines here. So remember, this whole allowance is 2 centimetres. And put that to one side. If you imagine that this is the front part, this is the flap, and this is the back of the bag, so it's obviously a little scale version. This is the apex line. This is the one I'm going to be keeping an eye on. So this is how I do all my roll over flaps. I'm going to place the flap flat and straight down on my tabletop, up to this first line here. This line here represents the top of the front of my bag, so it would be that part there. Remember, this is a rollover allowance. This line here represents the top of the back of the bag. I'm going to get my knitting needle, and I'm just checking that I've kind of taken that, just gone a little bit too far. I'm just easing it away a little bit. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to thread the lining part just over the knitting needle, and I'm trying to even it up and get that central apex line along the centre of my knitting needle, as far as I can judge just by looking over it. I'm just going to draw that away a little bit, not happy about that. Right, okay, so I'm just rolling it over a little bit, and then I'm just going to roll it down past that apex line just a little bit more, and I could actually roll it to the top of the bag line for the back of the bag line. Yeah. Now, because I know the back of the bag is flat and straight, I'm going to place the rest of it down on the table, and I'm going to gently smooth my upper part on top. There we go. I'm using a bone folder just to help the glue stick to itself. I'm going to do that bit. I'm just going to, so you can be, sort of like quite firm with it. So there is the mark for the front of the bag. There is the mark for the back of the bag, and there is my apex line. So I'm just easing it a little bit, and I'm just going to work this with my bone folder a little bit more. So this is quite a stiff bit of leather, and it really didn't want to stay down. but there you go, I've actually encouraged it to do so, and once it's attached to the rest of the leather, it will most certainly prefer to be in this position. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you just before I go is that you can use this rolling method for lots of other things as well. This is a fleur-de-lis pot. This is my own design. This is another one of my projects. I use it for keeping my perfume in. I've rolled the fleur-de-lis petals out using exactly the same method. I've just used leather on the outside and leather on the inside, but it's a different, this is a softer one, so it gives a different effect for the little bits of relief that I've put in between the two pieces of leather. So there are lots of things that you can use this method for. Well, I hope that's been useful. Do always contact me on sallyaintnosaint@gmail.com or go to my Facebook page, Sally's Sewing Bee. You can post a comment or a question and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Bye for now.